This season, rather than madness, opening days, or taking a break, the world is frozen, silenced by quarantines, isolated by distance, and edging on panic. But while work for you may have changed, out here, we're still going strong. Our season is underway. The crops will get planted, the livestock will be fed, and your food will continue to be grown, just like it's been for generations. There's plenty to worry about. But out here, social distancing is our specialty. American agriculture farms on, today and tomorrow, for our family and yours.
Hello everyone, you can show us what it means to hashtag FarmOn this season. Post your pictures or videos on social media by including the hashtag FarmOn, or you can text FarmOn to 31313 and include the pictures or video there. Hello and welcome to Farm Journal Live. I'm Clinton Griffiths, editor of Farm Journal, and today we'll continue to update you on the latest in the coronavirus outbreak and its impact on the agricultural industry. Let's get straight to some of the latest news we're tracking today. Cargill saying it will close its Hazleton, Pennsylvania plant. The facility produces meat for grocery stores across the country. Those products include ground beef, steaks, beef roasts, and pork products. The plant is in Lucerne County in the northeast part of the state, which is the highest number of confirmed cases of COVID-19. Now, an unspecified number of Cargill employees at the plant have tested positive. Officials saying it will reopen the plant as soon as it's safe to do so. Why don't we go ahead and bring in Jennifer Scheich. She's with Farm Journal's Pork. And Jennifer, you've been tracking the impacts of these types of closures and things that the pork industry has been dealing with. Here's just another example of something that's impacting the supply chain.
Yes, it's been a difficult time for pork producers. We need to find a place for all of those pigs to go, and it has a lot of people wondering where that shackle space is going to come.
You know, as we start to look at the impact of the overall pork producer, we are starting to see, some of the challenges that this entire situation is creating for them. A lot of it because we're trying to rework the entire supply chain here. Product that was going out to restaurants or being exported, maybe having to be rerouted into more retail space. How is the pork industry dealing with that right now?
Well, fortunately, we have a great team working for us at our national organizations, trying to make sure that they can get that pork to the places that it needs to go. And so I've had some great conversations with leaders of the National Pork Board about how they're working with retailers to make sure that they're keeping pork in the meat case. But yeah, there's a lot of concerns with that because at the end of the day, that supply chain has changed a lot and it takes a while for it to catch up.
And that's going to obviously change some of the processes back at the farm. We're looking at the latest farrow to finish numbers from the Sterling Profit Tracker showing us that pork producers saw their margins decline last week. Feeders now seeing $14 per head losses compared to $3 per head profits the previous week. Now, a year ago, pork producers were earning $40 per head, and pork packers saw average profits of about $14 per head this past week. Jennifer, it just seems like, as the industry had kind of ramped up for, TPP and a China trade deal, all of a sudden we've seen some of those things shift right from under our feet.
Sure. I was talking to some pork producers from Southeast Iowa on Monday, and they were saying just as we were trying to crawl out of the hole after 12 months of tough battles, COVID-19 brings a whole new set of challenges for us. And so it's tough for producers who are used to selling their hogs within a very regimented system, and those flows are going to run into some challenges. So there's short-term things that they can do to try to mitigate that, but definitely praying that no more plants close down.
Yeah, what are some of the things that they're doing? We've heard is maybe trying to adjust some rations, and obviously that's not ideal, but doing what they can.
Sure. Somebody called it the least bad thing that we can do in a tough situation. And so changing those feed rations may be one way that we can slow down pig growth a little bit. I've heard of people moving pigs that are ready to go but don't have anywhere to go into empty barns of neighbors and so forth. And so the industry is really rallying to do whatever they can to do the best by their pigs right now. But but it's tough.
Yeah, it has been a challenge. You know, one of the other things we've been talking quite a bit about is, from a livestock standpoint, how does COVID-19 impact the health of our animals? And I know you've written a couple of stories about whether or not this can cross over into the pork, onto farm, into the pork supply chain. What have you found out in talking with some of these leading experts and veterinarians?
Well, this morning, I just ran a story on Pork Business about new research out of Germany that has shown that pigs and chickens are not susceptible to the virus that causes COVID-19 in humans. And so that's great news. That's the second research article that has come out. According to Dr. Pyburn, I visited with him yesterday, the chief veterinarian of the National Pork Board, and he's tracking this very closely. And so he's seen two studies come out that are both confirming that pigs cannot carry that virus. But the reality is that it's something we have to watch closely. More testing is being done, and we're staying vigilant on that, because coronaviruses can jump. They don't jump very often from a human to an animal, but it is something that we need to pay attention to.
Well, go ahead. I was just going to say, we appreciate you paying attention to all of it for us and keeping us up to date on the very latest in the pork industry, as we know they're dealing with some difficult times right now. You know, is there a sentiment right now of where this fits in overall history? Is this the 1990s yet, or are we still a few months away from something like that?
Well, you know, I would say, first of all, this is unprecedented from the standpoint that internationally, we've never seen a situation where we've all been experiencing the same magnitude of this crisis all at the same time. And so in a conversation with Christine McCracken at Rabobank, you know, she was talking about how this makes this a particularly interesting time in history for us. In some other stories that we've run on Pork Business this week, you know, we're hearing economists say this is not the 1990s yet, but definitely people are talking about it, and it's bringing up memories of one of the most difficult times in our history. And so, you know, we think there's more systems that are in place to help us from not going quite as a dire situation as the 90s, but it's yet to be seen. We just don't know what will happen in the weeks ahead with COVID-19.
Jennifer, appreciate your time. Thank you so much for taking a few moments out of your busy day to kind of keep us up to date on what's happening in the pork industry. We know it's a very serious situation out there. Thanks so much. Pork Business, where you want to keep up with what's happening, Jennifer will be glad to share with you there on the website, so make sure you go. All right, some of the other stay-at-home orders continuing to impact some other news here. Impacting driving, U.S. gasoline demand has all but collapsed as consumption falls to levels not seen in 25 years. Sales at retail stations were down 46% from a year ago the same week, according to a report from the Oil Price Information Service by IHS Markit. The average station sold about 11,000 gallons, less than 2 tanker trucks worth. Refineries continuing to cut production as fuel sits in storage. Some estimate that global oil demand could shrink by as much as a third. And the Energy Information Administration releasing its petroleum status report earlier today. It showed ending stocks of fuel ethanol for week ending April 3rd at just over 27 million barrels, up more than 1.3 million. That's now the highest level on record. Storage capacity now expected to be a growing concern, even as production fell by 672,000 barrels per day. Production at 62% of the levels seen 5 weeks ago. Traders were waiting to see how ethanol production changes will impact the balance sheet on USDA's WASDE report this month. That report due out tomorrow. And the global pandemic clearly weighing on the minds of farmers right now. The new Purdue CME Group Ag Economy Barometer recording its largest one-month drop in sentiment. The reading plummeted in March, dipping 47 points or 28% from the month earlier to a reading of 121. The decline erased the sentiment improvement that took place over the past fall and winter, leaving the index unchanged from its reading from September of last year. Producers saying they were concerned about the coronavirus and its impact on their farm, with 74% saying they were either fairly worried or very worried.
Farmers were much less confident of both current conditions and future expectations for the ag sector on the March survey. The current condition index fell to a reading of 111 from 154 a month earlier, and the index of future expectations fell to a reading of 126 from 175 a month earlier.
Also, there was a drop in the Farm Capital Investment Index, which focuses on investments in machinery buildings. It fell 18 points, its lowest reading since June of last year, when the Midwest was hit by too much rainfall and widespread planting delays. That's going to wrap us up for today's Farm Journal Live. Remember, as we continue to track the latest in the coronavirus outbreak and its impact on agriculture, please go to agweb.com/coronavirus for the very latest. That's where we'll be putting up the latest coverage from the entire team, including Jennifer Scheich there at Pork Business, our folks over at Drovers, the Milk Business Group, as we try to keep abreast of what's happening here to the agricultural industry in these difficult times. Thanks so much for watching.